You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Hello, and welcome to episode 172 of the Show Before the Show podcast, the official podcast of MILB.com. I'm usually your co-host, Sam Dykstra, and as you can tell, this is going to be quite a different episode than our usual three strikes, interview, Ben's Biz banter style, and way of doing things. As we discussed on the show last week, our own Benjamin Hill was traveling to his home borough of Brooklyn to visit the Mets Class A short season affiliate at MCU Park. So we decided, what the heck, let's go along for the ride with him. So hello, and welcome from beautiful, world-famous Coney Island. Over the course of this episode, we'll talk about what makes a trip here to MCU Park unique, what you can expect should you visit by car, taxi, Uber, or one of the 4 subway lines that stop at Stillwell Avenue. Those are the D, F, N, and Q, by the way. We have friend of the podcast and friend to us all, Kelsie Heneghan, here as Ben's designated eater, and she'll take you through some of the beachside culinary delights you can find here at MCU Park. And we'll be back at the end of the show to wrap everything up. So again, thanks for joining us this week. Welcome to the birthplace of Jay-Z, Spike Lee, Sandy Koufax, Barbra Streisand, and Biggie Smalls. Welcome to the County of Kings. Welcome to New York's greatest borough. Welcome to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, how you doing? Where you going? Can I come too? If I can't, I'ma be your man, be my lady, and have my baby, and drive my car, and drive me crazy. Wherever you going, baby, just take me, cause I'm so taken. If you taken, I'm just saying, baby, I'm just saying.
Like a mama, you birthed me. Brooklyn, you nursed me. School me with hard knocks, better than Berkeley.
So we're here at the ballpark for the first of 3 Brooklyn Jefes nights. And the big question on a night like this is, how'd this come to be? Why the Brooklyn Jefes? How did this whole identity come about?
Okay, well, obviously the initiative is started by minor league baseball, the Es Divertido Ser un Fan, which basically translates into It's Fun to Be a Fan initiative. We were kind of given sort of guidelines, but we took a whole different approach to it. It kind of took a mind of its own, and we figured what is so synonymous with Brooklyn and how can we translate that into Spanish. So it kind of turned out to be the bosses. Everyone has that I'm the boss mentality. In Brooklyn, we are the best. So in Spanish, that is the Jefes, the bosses. So that's kind of, it started the whole initiative from there, and we figured why not take it off and divide it up into 3 different nights. And the Hispanic populations that are most predominant in Brooklyn, which are the Puerto Rican population, Dominican population, and Mexican population. And from there, we figured let's focus a night on each of those. And here we are, the first night on Mexican Heritage Night. So it's been fun getting involved in it. And we've kind of had a hand in it. I know Raphael has been heavily involved as well, so it's been fun, I could say that.
Yeah, I love the logo. First of all, the crown, because we are obviously Kings County. It fit us well, and I feel like being in Brooklyn, eyes were on us when we took this on. I feel like we had to blow it out of the water. Everyone's expecting a lot from us, especially after winning, the promotional team of the year last year as well. And so we took it. We took it and ran with it, and we started doing the kids clinics, which I was heavily involved with. So we were going out to the community, reaching out to the little leagues that we currently work with locally from Brooklyn or a little further out. But we took them, we went to their parks, normally come here, so we went to their house basically and took that on, and we had a great time with the kids out on the field. We went to a couple different fields. You wouldn't believe what some of them look like compared to when they come here. That's why they're always in awe when they get to play on the field here. But that was also awesome, and it's great to have the guys that aren't technically from the United States get involved, because normally we have guys that come here and we ask them to do things, but they technically can't really get involved much because of the language barrier. So half the time I'm translating what they're saying, and then trying to translate what the kids are saying back to them. So that's half the time. But it was great this time. We just sent them out there, and we were actually able to have them be hands-on and communicate with the kids, which was great. That was a big thing that I've noticed. I've done camps and clinics beforehand, and that's our biggest hurdle for us.
And when you were talking about getting to the Jefes and it being a Bosses thing and being a Brooklyn thing and really blowing it out, what kind of short list for names did you guys come up with? Because looking at some of the other ones across the minor league spectrum, some of them are very specific and some of them are very general. Jefes, I feel like, is right in the middle there. So what was on the short list?
Well, it was narrowed down to 2 or 3. Off the top of my head, the other option was Los Cyclones, which is the literal translation in Spanish. And we felt like that wasn't enough, going back to the whole personality that is so dominant here in Brooklyn. So it was between those two that we narrowed it down, and we figured Bosses was the best one.
And how involved was minor league baseball? Because you said they started it. The whole Copa de Diversión is a big thing. There was a trial. How many teams did it last year, Ben?
There's 4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah, something like that. So were you guys studying that, or how did this kind of come about through minor league baseball's help and that initiative?
Well, with them, obviously, they brought the idea to us, and they presented it and asked us if we wanted to be a part of it, and we definitely jumped on that right away. Their involvement on it, like I said, they gave us a couple guidelines and regulations, but it was more of an inspiration list, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So obviously they have a say in a lot of what we do, but they did give us a lot of creative freedom. With that being said, we kind of took the liberty to do certain things and make each night a little different. But they've been involved, but it's been mainly in-house that we kind of had the creative control.
Yeah, and how do you feel like the team is kind of taken to it? You were talking about the clinics and them getting more involved in it. I was talking to a player before who said, it's fun to wear these because it's for the fans, but this is something kind of unique in minor league baseball.
They made us a playlist. We asked them, they loved it. They ran with the idea. They were on the bus headed back they were in Hudson Valley. They were headed back from Hudson Valley. They had some time. They made a playlist. By the time they got here today, they sent us over a list, and that's the stuff we're playing out on the field. So that's as involved as you can get.
Right. That explains the dancing. I think a couple of them were doing that. They knew exactly what was coming.
Exactly. It definitely touches home from them. And like Rafael mentioned, when there's a big language barrier, they're very hesitant to get involved in things like this. So they are very happy. We have a bunch of videos filmed that are going to be on the video board tomorrow. So they're very happy to get involved, and they're loving this. It reminds them of home.
Yeah, and Brooklyn is a very neighborhoody borough, obviously. Everybody talks about what neighborhood they come from before they talk about coming from Brooklyn. What type of neighborhoods do you feel like you're tapping into more now through this initiative that you weren't necessarily getting to before?
We did a lot more of work in the East New York side. That's where I grew up a little bit there and played out there as well. We were missing that totally when we first started. Like the last 2 years I've been working here, we haven't been hitting just because of the mere fact that we have nothing that connects us to them. They just know we are a minor league baseball team connected to the Mets. Right. But now we have something that directly correlates with the Dominican guys, the Puerto Rican guys that are coming from the islands and coming here to live here, and now we have something to bring them in here for. And when we put these giveaways together as well, it's awesome. Like the Sugar Skull for tonight, I thought was a great idea. I know other teams have done it in the past. We are doing the Ahmed Rosario tomorrow, obviously for the Dominican Heritage Night. He was one of our best players here, and we're going to follow it up and do a package deal for the Coqui, which is the tree frog Puerto Rico, and some of the proceeds from that is also going to Puerto Rico Relief. So we're going to have a lot of people jump on that as well. I thought that those 3 things were perfect for what we wanted to do for this initiative.
Mm-hmm. And you guys are obviously one of the, like you said, won the promotional team of the year last year, one of the more unique teams in terms of promotions. But in terms of how you guys have kind of developed promotions over the years, Seinfeld Night, Brooklyn Bagels, the list kind of goes on. Where does this rank in the last 5 years or so for at least community involvement?
I would say personally it's definitely up there, not only because I come from that Latino Hispanic background, but it's something that is so heavily influenced, like games have been influenced by the culture, and it's something that's been lacking, especially in this neighborhood. We are in Coney Island, and we have one of the biggest Puerto Rican populations in New York, and we never really tapped into that. So I think it's so important now that this is home for a lot of these people, and they tend not to come here. And now that we are really embracing the culture, it's definitely up there, not only for us internally, but for the fans as well. So I think it's one of the top promos that we've done in a while because it hits home for a lot of people.
And how early in the process did you guys start seeing results? Because, obviously part of it is to get people here, buy tickets and whatever, and have the giveaways. But was it during the announcement? Was it during the clinics? I mean, when were you guys really starting to see this payoff in the communities you were going to?
When we start reaching out to, I personally reach out to the NYPD Hispanic Association. They're heavily populated by They haven't been here before, but they wanted to come because we're doing that Go Key package that we're going to send proceeds back to Puerto Rico. So that hits home for them. So things like that, they're going to bring out over 100 people on there and that alone. And I'm sure it's happened with the rest of everyone in here that calls out and reaches out to these local little groups and cliques and try to get them here for the specific night, something that really hits home for them and gets them here to have a good time, because at the end of the day, that's what we want people to do.
Jumping off of that, I think it was very early on. Once we kind of announced the team name change, people were very intrigued by what the Jefes were. So from then, we made social media accounts just dedicated to the Jefes, not just changing our current handles and profile pictures, but we started pumping that out really early, I would say in like February, March, and people were really starting to take notice of it. And then once we did announce those packages, it resonated with them, especially the Puerto Rico Relief Fund that we were working on. So I would say early on, but when we announced those promos, people really started jumping on on board for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everything we talked about so far has been such a locally impact thing, and that's what minor league baseball starts with. But this is a national initiative.
Yes.
When you guys go to a promo seminar or talk to other teams, what are you going to tell them about what made this successful, and how do you feel like it could work on a national level?
That's a good one. I think if we do get that platform to really express what we've done here, we could just basically tell them you need to tap into that local community, and obviously the word will spread, but reach out to areas that you wouldn't think would be interested. We have an actual interview set up for Friday with Fonzie and Manny Ramirez, who is a local boy, but the interview is being done over Skype in LA. So obviously people have heard of that cross country. Right. So I think just really starting small and working your way out, but really focus on something that tugs the heartstrings, which I guess the Puerto Rico did it for that. Manny Rodriguez is a local Brooklyn boy, and he comes from the Dominican background. So really, if you have that story to tell, just really push it out there.
Gary mentioned this is Edgardo Alfonso being the major Jefe.
Mm-hmm.
The boss. Yeah, the boss of the boss. So
yes,
in terms of the buy-in from the team itself and what you're trying to do in the clubhouse and have the players embrace it, how important is he to this whole thing?
Oh, Fonzie, he's basically the key for everything that we did. He gets the guys into it as well. He himself went all in. He's the press conference for us. He does a meet and greets for us. He does everything he needs to do to help us make this successful. Well, he understands more than anyone else because he came up in that era of there was no one that can translate for you in minor league baseball. So if anyone would understand what those guys are going through, it's those guys, it's him. So I know now things have changed a little bit. There has to be at least one translator on every team, but it's because of guys like him that laid the groundstone and actually made it to the major leagues and told everybody all the things that they've been through in minor league baseball and major league baseball. I think that's why things are starting to change. And that's why we're doing initiatives like this and slowly going back into the Hispanic communities as well.
Yeah, and I don't know how many conversations you guys have had with other clubs, but it like we said, it started last year, 4 or 5 teams, expanded to however many this year. Do you feel like this is gaining momentum almost everywhere from here on out?
Absolutely. You see other teams that you never would have thought they would do any sort of Hispanic Heritage Night, and now it's just taking a mind of its own, and it's really important. But I think going into next season, it's going to be bigger than ever, I think.
Manny Rodriguez is not just a Brooklyn Cyclones player. He's also a Brooklyn native who grew up rooting for the Cyclones and also their parent New York Mets. He's also a big proponent of the Jefes identity, and I got a chance to talk to him.
I was actually born in Kensington, and we reside in Fort Greene now.
And you live in Fort Greene now? Or?
Yeah, my mom lives there, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Where about in Kensington? What subway stop?
Church Avenue.
Yeah, the F and the G.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. So growing up in Brooklyn, Is baseball always a part of your story?
Oh, every single day, yeah. I was either playing it or watching it.
Nice. And where did you play growing up?
I played for the first team I started off with was the SFX Huskies. They got me, into the whole organized baseball thing. And then after there, I went and played for the Brooklyn Bonnies, which was just like a more bigger travel team. Played a bunch of tournaments, a bunch of Little League World Series and things like that.
Awesome. And now to be here in Brooklyn as a professional, did that ever occur to you growing up that did you come to Cyclones games as a kid?
I actually did. I came to a few, with my friends, and then also some of my Little League teams. I grew up a Mets fan, so it was definitely a dream come true. I don't know, just watching the Subway Series and the good old Mets versus Phillies rivalries, that always stirred the pot for me, and that always, I actually try and pursue that dream.
And who were your favorite players growing up?
Anywhere from Pedro Martinez, Manny Ramirez, Jose Reyes, all the big Hispanic guys.
Nice. And so today is the first Jefes game. What do you think about that identity? Is it something that resonates with you?
I think it's a great opportunity. I think that this city is perfect for this whole collaboration, because I think that the amount of loyal Hispanic baseball fans we have in the city is outstanding. I just think that not only are they bringing stuff to the table for the players in terms of fans and stuff like that, but they can also show the other fans how Hispanic people are serious about baseball, the enthusiasm, and then just the great times that they have.
And here in Brooklyn, it's a short season. You're immersed in the day-to-day of playing, but what are the things you can do as a Brooklyn native to kind of promote baseball in Brooklyn and to be an ambassador for your borough?
Yeah, actually, last week we had a little, we kind of had a Brooklyn Jefes camp with, a couple Little Leaguers. So, I just showed up to the park, just thinking I was just going to, kind of supervise a little camp. But I actually showed up, and it was the SFX Huskies, which was the first team I played with. So it was, it was a surreal moment just seeing that logo again. And it was just, it was a great time giving back and just seeing the excitement that they had in this whole professional player, which kind of relates to me when I was growing up. And, I just, for some reason, if I saw a baseball player, I would just go crazy. So it was kind of like a realization, wow, I'm here, but, we're not done yet. And it's, still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, and on the Jefes poster, it's you there. I mean, did you ever think this early in your career you'd be the face of the franchise?
No, not really. I mean, I always thought I had a good smile, but I didn't know it was that good. So I guess, I took it open-handed, open arms, and I just think it's a great opportunity.
And do you identify that as a Brooklyn kid with the boss mentality?
Oh, absolutely. I just think not only is it a Brooklyn thing, but it's a New York thing. It's just, the concrete jungle, so everybody walks around with a chip on their shoulder. So, it's pretty awesome, honestly. I think it was a perfect name for this team.
Absolutely. Well, cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate your time.
Anytime.
So that was Ben with Manny Rodriguez. I also got a chance to talk with a Brooklyn Cyclones infielder in Carlos Cortez, a third-round pick this year out of the University of South Carolina. We talked about a number of things, joining the Brooklyn Cyclones, what it's like to play here in Coney Island, what it's like to put on the Jefes jersey for the first time. And also, one of the coolest facts about him is that he's ambidextrous. When he plays the infield, he throws with his right hand. When he plays the outfield, he throws with his left hand. We get into all those topics right now. This is your first pro season.
Yep.
What's it been like transitioning to the pro game, coming from college?
I think the biggest transition was really just playing every day and learning just the consistency of just being here every single day and you're playing every day.
Right.
It's different than college. You practice every day and you play 3 or 4 games a week, and this is 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's the biggest transition.
Cool. And part of the reason we're here is to kind of explore what Brooklyn Cyclones baseball is all about and what that's kind of like. Yeah. What has your introduction been like, playing here, playing in this stadium, in this environment?
It's cool. Definitely not a lefty-friendly hitter's park, but yeah, it's cool. It's been a nice experience. it's a nice first year experience, really, because we've been to places that are very crappy, and like I feel bad, like because we have it nice here.
Right.
So yeah, it's a nice experience for my first year of baseball.
And what makes this a nicer stadium from your point of view than some of the other places like Batavia or something like that?
Yeah, I would say the clubhouse definitely.
Yeah.
And being able to play on turf, it's nice. It's easier.
It is easier because I wanted to ask about that. Being
Yeah.
a second baseman,
Yeah.
how does that affect you? You feel like?
Not really. It's a little bit easier just to kind of get back into it, playing second, like getting true hops and just ball plays a little quicker, so you don't think as much. You just feel it and get the out.
So that's something you prefer, is having to make the quicker reactions than having to take the funny bounces.
Yeah, definitely.
And how do you kind of ease that transition? Is that just taking a lot more infield? I mean, how do you kind of transition from playing grass normally?
Just taking more reps. Definitely, like my reps, because every day I would be in the outfield in college, so I would take all my reps in the outfield before the game in BP. And here, before the game and in BP, it's all at second base, so it's really just getting my reps in every day and kind of getting accustomed to it again.
Mm-hmm. And what is it like playing here and having this introduction to the Mets fan base, being so close, being in the same city? Obviously, it's not right next to Citi Field in Queens, but you're in the same area.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because a lot of the people that are Cyclone fans are Mets fans, so they're pulling for you to be in the big leagues soon. So it's pretty cool because like they can see you go through the system.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and what is what kind of conversations have you had with the Mets? You said talking about transitioning back to second base. When did they tell you that that's something they wanted you to do?
The day I got drafted.
Oh, okay.
So I had no idea. I thought I was gonna play outfield, and then they just said, "Yeah, we're gonna." Do you want to play second? I was like, yeah, I don't care. And then I got the call and said second base. I was like, oh, second base.
Okay. Why are you so flexible with that? Was it just the opportunity to be a pro, or is there something about second base you really like?
I just like playing the infield, just being in the game a lot. It's a lot less boring than the outfield in college.
And one of the fun things about you that a lot of people knew the second you were drafted is the ambidextrous nature of it.
Yeah.
How you throw lefty in the outfield, righty on the infield. When did that start for you?
When I was about 8 years old, my dad thought it was a good idea to just switch over, to be right-handed, and give me more options to play instead of just being left-handed. Okay. And being short, I can only play the outfield. So yeah.
Right. What kind of drills were you guys doing? Like, what was your dad having you do to make sure your right hand was strong enough for that?
We literally just threw every single day. Work on just my mechanics, throwing, and then eventually got good enough, so then I started to get my arm strength, to work on my arm strength to get it better, and
At what point, or how long do you feel like that took? At what point did you feel comfortable enough to throw with your right hand?
I was about 12 years old when I got comfortable. Mm-hmm. Then about 14, I started doing it in games, 13, 14 in games. So,
And how much were teams talking to you about that, through the whole college recruitment process and even the draft process, because you got drafted before that?
Yeah, so out of high school, I played more right-handed because I was literally a right-handed player in high school, and in travel ball, I played second base. I caught, and then I played outfield as well. So I was pretty much I was ambidextrous, but I pretty much was a right-handed position player because I would play the right-handed positions. Okay. And they wanted me to play there, so. And then we got to college, and then I pretty much didn't play right-handed. Yeah. I literally didn't play right-handed at all, and then just kept my arm strength up and conditioned my arm, and then got here, and now I'm playing right-handed again.
Yeah, when did the Mets say at what point they saw the potential for you to move back if you were doing so much outfield in college?
They always wanted me to play infield, play second base. They just thought I was good enough to play there. Right. So, yeah.
And how much did you get to know the organization? Because they took you, I think, the 20th round a couple of years ago, 2016. Yeah. What was that process going through that first time, and then getting to go through the same organization again?
Yeah, so it was pretty cool the first time. Like in high school, being a Florida guy, you get to go to St. Lucie and like work out there. Okay. And so that was a good experience, getting to know that system, like how they work and like how like everything is and like what they do there.
Right.
And literally being a day in the life in spring training there, so that was kind of cool and kind of fell in love with that.
Okay.
So yeah, and then that's pretty much the experience I have and then playing in Brooklyn.
Right, yeah, no, for sure. And was it just the idea of going into college, improving your draft stock? I mean, why not sign with that? 20th round, there's plenty of chance for improvement there, but
yeah.
What went into that decision the first time?
Definitely wanted to sign out of high school. If it made sense. I got a few calls in the second, third round.
Okay.
But ended up not working out, and I really wanted to go to school and go to a university like South Carolina. It's pretty good experience.
Right. And what is how do you guys kind of compare playing in a big conference like you did at South Carolina to playing here in pro ball, playing here in the New York Penn League? How do they kind of compare, other than just aluminum bats versus wood bats?
Yeah, the pitching is pretty similar, except for there's a lot, like every reliever is good here. Like, so every starting pitcher in the SEC is legit.
Right.
They're legit. They can probably all play in this league and do well. But I think here the relievers are just a lot better than most relievers in the SEC. But I mean, the closers are good too in the SEC. It's just like it's just consistency of pitchers in this league, and obviously the hitters in the SEC are just unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, there's always a top 5 draft pick, I think, in the SEC every single year.
Right.
So yeah.
Who was somebody you faced in college that you feel like prepared you especially well? You know, going through some of those teams you faced in Florida or Vanderbilt.
Brady Singer, Jackson Carr, those guys, first rounders. I mean, Blaine Knight, third rounder, guy went undefeated this year.
Right.
I mean, you can literally name them all, and I faced them. Who's another guy that was good? I mean, Kevin Smith on my team, or on this team, pitched at Georgia.
Right.
He's unbelievable left-handed pitcher. He's hard to hit. Adam Hill, on our team right now, he pitched at South Carolina.
Right.
Faced him a lot in the fall and the spring, 2 years in a row. And that guy's unbelievable, and that's also helped me prepare to get ready.
Cool. And what do you feel like was your welcome to professional baseball moment?
I would say my first hit, I guess.
All right.
Because you see in the big leagues all the time, like you get your first hit and they ask for the ball.
Right.
Like in here, I got my first hit and they just asked for the ball, and like, that was cool.
Where is that now?
It's in my locker. Gotta wait till one of my parents come up to
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, did you ship that immediately down to Florida? Or you just holding on to it?
Just holding on to it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And one part of minor league ball too, like you said, you're playing every night, but also playing here. This is a big promotional park. You guys are doing all sorts of stuff. You're wearing Jefes uniforms tonight. Yeah. What about it do you love so much?
I just love that you get to be something different. Like it's just like you're a Brooklyn Cyclone every single day, but now like today we get to be the Brooklyn Jefes, or like the other day we were the Brooklyn Cyclone or the Brooklyn Bagels. Like, that's so cool. I think that's funny. Just to be able to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes everybody has a different reaction to that, but do you guys feel like you take a lighthearted reaction to it just because it's part of the game?
Yeah, definitely for the fans. If there's no fans, there's no baseball.
All right, well, now is the point of the show where we're back here in Coney Island to wrap everything up. We're all 3 of us here together. Myself, Ben is with me, Kelsie is with me. We're actually currently on the Coney Island Pier, which is really cool. So if you hear some of the background noises, it sounds like water is lapping up into my microphone. It's about halfway true. There's a boat droning on towards New York Harbor, towards the Verrazano Bridge right now. We're looking out upon Coney Island itself. The Thunderbolt lights are still on. The parachute jump lights are off. The lights are off on the Cyclone and the Ferris wheel, but you still get a little bit of that Coney Island vibe. We've just sat through a game between Brooklyn and Connecticut. Ben, this is your night, kind of. We're the ones joining you along on this journey. You've been to MCU Park before. You've been to Coney Island before. What are your kind of overall impressions of tonight and kind of being back here in official Ben's Biz mode?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned to you guys earlier tonight, and to several people tonight, basically anyone who would listen to me tonight, I was kind of a broken record about it. But living in Brooklyn, I've lived in Brooklyn since 2005, and right now I live in Ditmas Park off the Q train, only about a half-hour ride from Coney Island. And when I go on these road trips, now only 2 ballparks away from having been to every single ballpark, hashtag career accomplishment for me. It's not a good hashtag, but
Ben everywhere.
Yeah, Ben everywhere. Thank you. That's the one that it should be. It is weird to me to get on a train and just go to a game that takes less time for me to get to than it does for us to get to the office every day.
Right.
And it actually kind of messes with me. I didn't go to the office today. I kind of tried to pretend my apartment was a hotel room. I'm serious about this. And I thought to myself, like, what would you be doing if you were on the road somewhere?
Did you clean your sheets last night? How much of a hotel?
No, see, just like hotels, I don't clean my sheets because it's all to protect the environment.
Gotcha. Right. Okay.
It's all because to protect the planet, you should never clean your sheets, and I'm all about saving the earth. So I lived in my apartment today like it was a hotel, and then just coming here, it's weird because when I'm on the road, I'm just mentally somewhere else. So to be at home and also at the road at the same time is very strange to me. But I truly love Coney Island. Ever since the first time I came here, probably in 2002 or 2003, right after moving to New York, there is still that charm here. It's the playground of the world. And you still see that here. There's a group called Coney Island USA, which has I think the only freak show left in America in terms of having a standalone theater for a freak show. You just pay $10 and you just stay until the program repeats itself. It's awesome. You see that kind of quirk around here. There's obviously the original Nathan's. There is obviously the iconic Cyclone roller coaster, which gave the Brooklyn Cyclones their name, as well as newer amusements like the Thunderbolt, which goes straight up and straight down. It's really intense. But I was just in Coney Island on Sunday. Not to see the Cyclones. I went to the beach by myself, and I was just walking around thinking, I love this place just about more than anywhere else in the world. People are always like, oh, Coney Island's dirty, the beach is gross, I don't go swimming there. On the subway back, some woman was like from the West Coast, and she was like, could you believe all the trash? And I'm like, really, that's your takeaway? There's trash? Not that it's the most beautiful place in the world, not that like this is the people's beach, not that you see all races, creeds, colors, backgrounds walking around in this riot of color and personality. There's trash? I don't care. I love Coney Island, and I love coming here. So in a lot of ways, this is one of the few places where the minor league baseball is kind of secondary to a place I have great memories of. But I do love seeing the Cyclones. Class A short season baseball, and today they played as the Jefes, and that was a cool experience. They've got a great front office staff here, do a lot of great promotions, and I do think they reflect the energy of Coney Island very well.
Yeah, and how do you feel that Jefe's personality kind of came into tonight? Because tonight was Mexican night. They really tapped into Mexican culture, played the Mexican national anthem, all that kind of stuff. They have other ones set up for, I think, Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic later in the season. But how do you feel like this kind of went through it? Because you've been through Copa nights before on some of your other trips. How did this Copa night kind of compare, and what was your view of the Brooklyn Jefes experience?
Well, I think it's a good start, but like you said, this was the first of 3, and being a Wednesday night, and also just demographically, tonight was Mexican heritage, and there's just not as many, I don't think, Mexican fans who come out to this night on a Wednesday as there will be Dominican fans tomorrow and Puerto Rican fans on Friday. So I think we're going to see the energy of this increase, one, while the team gets its bearings in terms of how they run these nights, and 2, just with reaching out to demographics, which might be, at least in these communities, already more baseball fans. So it's a big experiment for the Cyclones, like it is for a lot of these teams, how to reach out to these markets. You and I spoke with 2 staff members, Hispanic staff members, and that's been a great thing. I've been seeing that more and more. I know it was a bit of a directive, from minor league baseball proper, but if you're going to do something like Copa, if you're going to market these communities, you better have people on your front office staff who, 1, can speak Spanish, and 2, understand these cultures and these communities. And I just think that is so crucial right now. And it's like interviews we did tonight. Just you hear that again and again. We need to have fans in the stands that reflect the community in which the team is operating, and that's not just good. That's 1, good for business, and it's 2, just good for the communities. If we're talking about minor league baseball as a crown jewel of the community, then the community should be coming out to games, and no one in the community should feel excluded from that. And that's why I love Copa on the whole, and why I think we're off to a good start with the Brooklyn Jefes tonight. And they're tapping into that New York energy. Jefes meaning bosses, and everyone in New York thinks they're running things, including me, Ben's Biz, king of minor league baseball.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about MCU Park itself. We talked about the experience of being in Coney Island. How do you feel like it kind of nestles itself in here? It's 5 minutes from the subway, super easy for New Yorkers like us to get here. Super easy for anybody visiting the city to get here. But in terms of the park itself, how do you feel like it kind of plays a role in this Coney Island experience?
Right. Well, Coney Island has been up and down, and I don't really know the history that well, but to have something like MCU Park, which not only just has the Cyclones, but has concerts and things like that, I think is crucial to keeping Coney Island a destination for the city at large. And I think the Cyclones do a great job of connecting throughout the city. And you probably know this as well, or have experienced this as well, when you talk to people who live in New York City who don't know minor league baseball very well, and you try to explain what you do or what you write about or something, you often hear, "Oh, I went to a Cyclones game. I've been to a Cyclones game." It is rooted in the experience of the average New Yorker, and it's also a great tourism thing to, one, just spend time in Coney Island in general, but two, to have this sort of anchoring thing to do. You can go to the beach, you can go to the boardwalk, but to have a minor league baseball game as part of that is a great thing as well. And I think the Cyclones is a key part of the Coney Island experience, and I hope to see this area just do better and better and draw more and more people and be the playground of the world forever. And baseball is America's game, and Coney Island is America's beach, and New York is America's city. So let's tie this all in together. I love America.
There you go. I know, yeah, Jesus. And how does this kind of compare to other short season parks you've been to? Looking at attendance figures, they obviously are in a good spot to draw attendance, but Brooklyn sells more than I think any Class A short season, probably beats out most Class A and Class A advanced teams as well. What is it about the park? How does that kind of compare to other ones in New York Penn League, Northwest League, all those types of leagues?
Well, you're looking at a really interesting market, both Brooklyn Cyclones and Staten Island Yankees, and that, obviously most minor league teams they reflect the biggest sporting entity that market can handle, and then it's almost the complete opposite in with the Brooklyn Cyclones, in that they're a short season Class A team playing in pretty much the most major league market in the world. So it's a totally different dynamic in terms of getting attention and bringing fans in. I think so. One, you're up against a lot in terms of incredible amount of competition, obviously in New York City sporting landscape, but just obviously also around Coney Island itself. We're looking at roller coasters and an amphitheater and the original Nathans and everything else.
And just the beach itself.
The beach, literally the beach. So that is tough to say in this world of options to come see a minor league baseball game. But two, you also can tap into the New York City media and obviously just a huge population of potential people to come. So I think the Cyclones have done really well through the years of cutting through the clutter, having premier promotions every year, like Seinfeld Night last week, and even something starting like the Jefes today, tomorrow, Friday, where they can cut through the clutter, capitalize on the New York media, have the budget to really bring out people and special guests and make sure that it's worth people's while to come here, and do it in an iconic setting that people want to be a part of. Because, if you're not from New York, or you're not in New York very often, and you're here in the summer, it's really worth it to come to Coney Island. And again, to have baseball part of that is just a plus. And I think the Cyclones do a great job with that.
And part of obviously the Brooklyn Cyclones experience, and this is where we bring in you, Kelsie, who I think I introduced you at the top, but yeah. Kelsie Heneghan is here with us.
You called her our friend
on and off the podcast.
Yeah, there we go. So you were Ben's designated eater, which is an experience. I think this is the first time we've had a designated eater on the podcast. In our 172 episode history.
I know a lot of designated eaters listen to this podcast. I'm sorry to all of you.
I'm just that special.
But Kelsie is just that special, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you were here as part of this experience. You got to do the culinary side of it. Kind of take us through everything you tried here at the park, which was not a Nathan's hot dog, but I guess we should get that off the top.
Right. I have had many a Nathan's hot dog, so I was here to try something special and unique. I will say that, first of all, it was just cool to see a Cyclones game. I remember the first time I saw the inside of MCU Park was on an episode of Project Runway All-Stars, because Alyssa Milano's the host, and she has that touch line through Major League Baseball shop. And so they did an athleisure challenge, and so she was introducing them, and they were on the field. And then I've been to a couple of NYU baseball games, but this was my first Cyclones game, so that was definitely a unique experience. And of course, getting to eat for Ben. I'll eat all of the gluten. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Which is why I begged him to let me do this. So I started with the Arancini Brothers balls, which I believe they have at Citi Field too, so that's kind of cool. They're part of that Major League food world. It was 6 different fried balls of different flavors and types.
6 for $12.
Yeah, it was just
I pay attention to
That was probably-
when I'm going to
exactly.
expense later.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was good. There was a couple just Italian flavors, mac and cheese. There was a buffalo chicken one that was good, but a little too spicy for me, but also really good. And then there was a dessert Nutella one, which I feel like is good because, every meal needs chocolate or like some type of sweet thing at the end.
And you've caught some flack for not identifying pesto.
Yes, I know. I know. I was bragging about how much Top Chef and food shows I watch, and I didn't recognize pesto in the first bite. I thought it was broccoli or spinach or like a samosa or something like that. But
you're under a lot of pressure.
I was. We were in the press box. It was a rain delay. Like it was. Yeah. I don't know what your normal designated air conditions are like. But.
Yeah, it was not in a crowded press box during a rain delay, but that's one of the beauties of minor league baseball is you just sort of adapt to the situation which you're presented. So
that's very true.
Yeah, and I don't think there's ever been this level of fact checking on the designated air before.
It's true. Yeah, so actually the person who called me out, Andrew Badafarano, one of our writers at MILB.com, he was really pushing the dinosaur barbecue. Is it Dinosaur Brother?
Yeah.
Dinosaur Barbecue.
Yeah,
it's like a upstate New York, Rochester, Syracuse classic, and they had it here, and I always heard good things, and like I said, Andrew was talking it up, so we tried that, and it was pretty good. I got pulled pork with like this tangy barbecue sauce, and they had pickles on it. I know some people are not pro
Apparently,
pickles, but
pickles is a very touchy subject in the
they
barbecue
like black
world.
olives. Yeah, like just in general, people are divisive.
I'm pro pickles, but usually you don't see pickles on a pulled pork
Yeah,
sandwich.
usually it's coleslaw, which I love coleslaw, but I don't know if I like it on pulled pork, so it's good on the side. But the pickles were good. It added a nice bit of acidity and just something fresh when you're just eating lots of meat and bread, as we were. Because then I tried a pastrami sandwich because you're in New York and you have to. And it wasn't cats, but it was pretty good. I liked that a lot. Again, there was debate about toasted buns. I'm not a fan of them. And the pastrami had it, but the pulled pork did not.
You also have potentially controversial mustard opinions.
Oh, it's very controversial. I'm not a big fan of deli mustard. I know I live in the wrong city for that. It's very hard to get yellow mustard in New York because everyone loves deli mustard, but it's a little just too spicy for me.
What's the difference between deli mustard?
It's just like brown mustard.
Okay.
It has like little seeds in it and stuff.
Yes. I'm thinking more of like the Heinz mustard. Or
that's more yellow.
French's.
Yeah, French's is yellow mustard, which I think Yankee Stadium got in the past recent years. They finally added yellow mustard, so it was a big win for us non-deli mustard fans. But yeah, so that was good. And then we rounded it out with some frozen wine, so what all good meals should have.
I forgot that, the frozen wine.
Yeah.
And with that, you said you probably would have preferred white, but you had red.
Yeah, it's it was red, which cold red wine is kind of weird. And then I was like, well, white wine would be good, rosé would be good, but then I realized that's already a thing. Rosé is very popular. It's very summer treat, so it was at least unique of Brooklyn to have the red wine as the slushy.
And how do you feel like that kind of feeds into? You mentioned City Field before. City Field I think they have Dinosaur Barbecue. And I feel like City Field is kind of the standard for stadium food here. They have Shake Shack, they have all that kind of stuff, tapping into that New York feel. How do you feel like MCU Park kind of held up its end of the bargain there? Beyond just being Nathan's, because I think everybody comes here thinking I'm just going to get Nathan's, that's what you want. But you got to try everything else, which was kind of a treat.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of that. And, the thing that I was missing at first was dessert. Because I was like, I need something sweet besides that Nutella ball. And you look around, and not only do they have Mr. Softies, which my mother's from Brooklyn, and she will tell you that the rest of the trucks are not good. And Mr. Softies is the only ice cream truck you have to have. So they have that here, so that's great. And they also have the Rita's, the Italian ices, which is
water ice.
Yeah, water, which they have right by the subway stop is a main location of Rita's. So it was cool. They also had that inside to tie in the local flavors.
And we should also mention, I think they have a Coney Island brewery inside the park as well, which you can go to. So all sorts of different options here. Ben, how does this kind of compare, at least from an outsider's point of view? I know you couldn't have a lot of that food, but culinarily wise, how does this compare to how other places are trying to tap into local stuff?
Well, I mean, first of all, I would just say that comparing the Cyclones of today to the Cyclones of the recent past is I always was a little bit frustrated by their food scene, just even coming here as a fan, and that it was basically only Nathan's for years and years and years. And Nathan's is iconic, and the original Nathan's is 2-minute walk from the ballpark, so it made sense that they had Nathan's. But when the lines were long and it was kind of crowded, I mean, I like Nathan's, but let's just face the fact that, you can get Nathan's like in an airport or a Pennsylvania rest stop or something like that. Not knocking it, but to come to a game, you maybe want something that seems a little more special. And I think the Cyclones have done a good job in recent years. Adding the sort of items and the New York specific items that, Kelsie was just talking about. And obviously I just think that's a minor league baseball trend that shows no sign of abating, is thinking what makes us unique, and in all aspects of the identity, you have to capitalize on that. So you think about what makes New York unique food-wise, that's a conversation you could have for hours and hours and hours. But from a ballpark perspective, from a Coney Island perspective, you can go in all sorts of directions, but they have a few things, and I think Kelsie was putting it well when I was writing down her quotes earlier. You get a pastrami sandwich. That's very New York. Yep. Barbecue is not specifically New York, but you said barbecue is barbecue.
That location, the Dinosaur Barbecue, is a New York brand. It's
a New York business. Yeah. There's one in Brooklyn, so I think they're good at capitalizing on New York. And Arancini Bros is a New York company, and stay local, buy local, but don't eat low-cal because you're at a ballpark.
Low, okay, yeah, all right. I thought you were saying L-O-C-A-L-E.
I got it. I was just glaring. First, like, God bless the playground of America. Now eat local. So vote for Ben.
Yeah.
All right, so Ben, this is one of your stops on your Northeast tour now. It's mostly going to be kind of day trips around the Northeast to some other places, but preview to us where you're headed next and where else you're going here in the next couple of weeks.
Well, on Friday, I'm going to stick with this on the road at home theme. Or at home on the road, I'm not sure which one it is, but going to Staten Island Yankees, and on Friday night, just 2 nights from now. Feel free to join me. Okay, or don't. That's fine. That's totally cool. I kind of like it, but I like it better when I'm alone anyway, actually, because then I just get to do my Ben's Biz thing without any self-consciousness. I'm a very self-conscious person, but I'll be there. Actually, everyone come out and see me on Staten Island on Friday night, and then I'll be going to Williamsport, home of the Crosscutters, but not to see the Crosscutters, to see the Little League Classic on Sunday, August 19th. So that'll be an interesting game to see a Major League Baseball game played at like a 90-year-old Class A short season stadium. Then heading from there the next day to State College Spikes, because I've not been there for years, so I just need to see my friends in State College and anyone else who also might be in State College. And then Friday, August 24th, the Aberdeen Iron
Birds.
The
Iron Birds.
Yeah, well, I was going to call them what they're going to be. They're going to be the steam crabs that day. So the Iron Birds are going to be the steam crabs. I got crossed up there. And so I'll be there August 24th. And so it'll be a New York Penn League kind of August.
Yeah, very cool.
We should add that Twitterless Danny Wild was with us during this experience.
Yes, he was. He was taking pictures. So if you see any pictures of this experience that come across not taken on our phones.
Yeah.
High quality.
That look to be a lot higher quality than you're used to from One Ben's Biz. It's because Danny Wild took the picture, and it was great to have him out for the brief amount of time he was.
Right, yeah. And if there is light in the sky, too, you can tell it was taken by Danny because he had to bounce. He does have a long trip home to the Hudson Valley. We get it. We're glad he was here.
Yeah, he lives in Oneonta.
He does not live in Oneonta. That's an inside joke for people who do not get that.
I'm on the outside, guys. Don't worry.
All right, so that was our special episode from Brooklyn, from Coney Island. Thank you for joining us on this episode 172 of the Show Before the Show podcast. We'll be back next week. Tyler will be here. Tyler is away this week. He's traveling. He's also moving into a new house. He's also producing this episode. So hi, Tyler. We love you and we miss you. But follow all of us on Twitter. We're pretty easy to find, at Ben's Biz, at Kelsie Heneghan, at Sam Dykstra, MILB, and I'll throw in Tyler there as well, at Tyler Mon. Find us on Twitter. Tell us what you thought about this episode. Tweet us any questions you have about the Brooklyn Cyclones experience. Watch Mild TV. I don't have a game ready for you this week, but we'll be back to our regular format, like I said just a few minutes ago. Email us at podcast@milb.com, and we'll see you guys next week. Good night from Brooklyn.